All right, I'm making a really short video because I got a couple things in today and I wanted to show them off. Also, I got see the lighting's a little bit better. I got the KV2 base coated. I need to work on the tank commander. This is with the highlight. So there's my KV1. Again, that's just a base coat. It hasn't had any oil streaks or weathering or decals, but that's the color we're going with. This is the work in progress Triarch Stalker. He's just had his natural still highlight. The same with the Lich Guard. That's just what's going on with them. Let's see if we can. Very simple. They're going to have bronze, the spines in the back, and a lot of the highlights will just be bronze. But interestingly enough, I just got box. All right, so this company. All right, here's my thing. That's cool. This is an online store. And again, normally I always order through my local brick and mortar Costume Comics, especially 40K or anything like that. So don't take this as me being whatever. This is an online store and they carry a lot of the more obscure stuff that I just simply would have a more difficult time getting Costume Comics to order. I'm sure they would, but it's a pain in the ass for them. You know, they've got a ton of stuff going on, and plus there's some weird rules like where they can't carry King's War miniatures or something because it interacts with their Warhammer stuff. And but these guys sent me some candy. Let's go this way, and a couple of pink and black dice. That's kind of cool. That's free. So, you know, okay. And they sent me a sticker so I can show off that I ordered some stuff from their company. All right. Now, what did we get? These are Rubicon models, I think. So Rubicon makes 28 millimeter. It's the exact same scale and everything as Bolt Action. They're 28 millimeter company, and you can't even tell the difference between them really on a table. And by really, I mean you can't. But most companies, like, I'm pretty sure, okay, would the guys at the COC order these? They would try. If I went in and said, look, man, I need these models. They're from a company named Rubicon. I have no doubt they would try, but then that would also be a pain in the ass for them. And plus they're getting, you know, a shit ton of my money here in the near future anyway. So the first thing I have is a 156 or 28 millimeter scale SDKF Z222, and it can be built as a 223. This was a German, more light scout car. Okay, that light's in the way there. It was used pretty much throughout the war. And you've got the 223 is the command variant with the antenna. The 222 is just a straight up scout car. They were pretty lightly armored. These guys were not expected to engage in any sort of serious combat because they would have got wrecked. But they are kind of cool in game. They're kind of cool to have so that you can just harass your enemy with them pretty much, you know, send them down a flank. And I mean, if you are running one of these, and they're pretty cheap to field, and you can run up on like an enemy mortar team or maybe MMG or something they have set up, your odds are pretty good at being able to take that out if they didn't support that team. And so that's basically, I mean, Warhammer players, they're gonna recognize that this thing fills kind of the same role as the Space Marine land speeder, you know, something like that. Something you're gonna flank hard with. It's fast, and you're gonna try and find a support unit out there and pick on it and if you're lucky, you're going to wipe it out. Okay. Next up in the box, and I've always wanted one of these, and they were only available in resin until, boom, right now when I found it. Rubicon models BA3 or BA6. There's not a lot of difference between the two, but what this is a heavy Soviet scout car, and it actually has an AT gun on it. So this guy's no joke. I mean, it could be a good option if you're just it could be a good option, especially early mid-war, if you just want to run around with the scout car. And I mean, if this gun is the gun I think it is, then you can threaten light and medium tanks with this thing. The only issue is that it was very thin armored. So a heavy machine gun like a 50 cal or 12.7 is going to eat this thing up. So, okay, it says here that 60 were delivered to Turkey in 1935. Used in combat in the Spanish Civil War. It was used against the Japanese at the Battle of Galkin-Gol. Used in the Winter War in Finland, and used against the Germans in the early stages of the Eastern Front. The Germans used a few Spanish-built that were copies of the BA-6. But later in the war, the BA-6, 3, 6, and 10 was replaced by the Red Army's. They replaced the use of these things with light tanks. So that's cool. Such as the T-60 and T-70. I would love to have either one of those models, but I am not going to buy resin anymore. I'm just not doing it. And I've went on about that, you know. Yeah, I know they're available and they're cheap to make, but all right, a few captured BA cars were used by the Finnish. So if you had a Finnish army for bolt action or some other 28 millimeter World War II game, I would say Chain of Command, because that's fast becoming my favorite. But also Disposable Heroes version 2 is out currently. Then this guy could be Finnish, and well, that's crazy though. On the back where it shows the water slides, the swastikas are actually blurred out. Understandable though, because in a lot of parts of Europe, my daughter's creeping around the room. That's Haas's wallet. Are you ready? Is that... My daughter and I are getting ready to go on a shopping expedition in about 5 minutes, so that's good. I'm just going to finish this up. It's going to be 5 minutes. Now, it gives you Soviet symbols, German symbols, including swastikas instead of just the Iron Cross. It gives you Hungarian symbols. That's cool. It gives you Chinese symbols, Taiwan. Yeah, those are definitely Taiwan. Or, no, that's not Taiwan. That's Imperial China, the blue with the white sun-looking device. So that's kind of cool. But, like I said, they blurred out the actual swastikas. Let's see if I can get that up there so you can see it better. But they have to do that because in most of the EU, it's illegal to have a swastika. You know. Now, would I put the swastikas on it? I don't know. It might be historically accurate, maybe on a Panzer, maybe. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's like every time I've ever seen German tanks, usually they have the that cross. I don't know what it's called. Ritterkreuz, maybe. But this is exciting for me, anyway. Another thing going with my Soviet army, the Red Army, which is my largest army, as you would expect. And the last thing in the box, also in plastic, so very exciting. This is pack 36. And this is a early mid-war German Wehrmacht anti-tank gun. I saw it, and I saw that was in plastic, and I had to have it. So these guys were 3.7 millimeter guns, which meant early war, they were probably okay at taking out light tanks, but these things would have been pretty much trash, and were trash when they had to deal with T-34s and KV-1s. I don't think one of these could actually take out a KV-1. It would have to be an extremely lucky hit, like maybe you could take out a track, but penetrate that front armor or the freaking turret, I don't think it would even be possible. But these guys, like I said, they were used early and mid-war, and later some of these were upgraded with a special round, which I forget the name of. Oh, right here, the PZG-40 tungsten core shells slightly improved the thing so that could finally maybe damage T-34, but according to this, only via direct shot to the side or rear at point blank range. So if you're the crew of this thing, point blank range to a T-34 is the last place you want to be, especially when after Stalin started putting tank riders on all of his T-34s. I mean, you fire that round, if you don't hit, now you've got, 8 to 10 pissed off Soviets coming after you with submachine guns. So, yeah, it was small. It was easy to handle, mobility, blah, blah, blah. That's all great up until the fact that you realize this thing really couldn't take out a heavy tank. But that's not why I got it. I got this guy because it's dirt cheap in the Army list for bolt action. And how I love scout cars, well, you got to have something to deal with scout cars occasionally. And this guy can do it. From completely across the table, like in Chain of Command, the range of this thing is the whole table. If you can see it, you can shoot at it. So now these were replaced by the Pack 38s, which had a 50, well, they say 5 centimeter. For some reason, anytime these games discuss German equipment, they use centimeters. So like the main gun of a Panther tank is a 7.5 centimeter, L40, I think. But when they talk about Soviet or Allied, excepting England, they use millimeters. 7.5 centimeter, that is 75 millimeters, so I don't know what they're doing. Now, the English had to do their own thing, and all their guns are by pound. So, the 19-pounder, the 17-pounder, a 2-pounder. In case you didn't know, what that means is if you were to take a lead ball that was exactly the size to fit into the bore of the gun, that number of lead balls would equal a pound. So a 2-pound gun, that lead ball weighs 2 pounds. And a 17-pound gun then obviously is that lead ball that would fit in there is 17 pounds. That's the same measurement as caliber too, which is, a percentage of an inch. So a 44 caliber is 0.44 of an inch through, not around, through. I think a 44 converted to millimeters is like an 11 point something millimeter round, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see what else is going on. All right, it says here this thing become quickly ineffectual in Europe and Russian theaters, but was used in China, and could destroy Japanese tanks, which makes sense since Japanese tanks basically had paper for armor. So used during the Battle of Tai-Erjiang, where they destroyed a number in 43, and that's what I was talking about. In 1943, the introduction of Steel Granat 41 hollow charge grenade meant the Pak-36 could penetrate most armor. Although the low velocity of the projectile limited range, Pak-36s, together with the new shaped charges, were issued to Fallschirmjäger units and other lightly equipped troops. the gun's low weight meant it could be easily moved by hand. So, as I said, early mid-war with the steel grenade, maybe this thing could be good. Again, Rubicon models, which I have never built one of. So this is super exciting. And opening it up, let's see what we got. And then I'm done. And then I'm out of here. All right. Well, you've got your gun parts. And they look really good. You got a couple of gunners hanging out. Then we've got a couple of sprues of gunners. I may actually replace these guys with winter equipped guys. Since, again, I have that extra box. So there you go. And it would be easy to do. It would be super easy to do. So I'll build the gun, and then I will build some of my Winter War Grenadiers. Not Winter War. My Grenadiers equipped with winter gear, and use them as crew of this thing. And that's it. That's pretty awesome. I'll have to get a base, but I have so many bases hanging around, you know, that I can mount these guys on, you know. So that will not be an issue. With that said, 16 minutes in, I'm going to end this video. And this was just me doing a little bit of a review of the miniatures that arrived today. And I'm super stoked about that. There's our, you know, good directions. And now I'm going to go to Walmart and other places and buy some weasel food so I don't starve my poor weasel to death. And maybe pick up some rattle cans to use as primer. There's my daughter. She's going to be my chauffeur today. And say hi. Say hi. Are you trying to be in? Don't be. Look at you straight faced. Say hi. Okay. Anyway, peace out, peace and love, and maybe I'll be back later today.